Big news out there this morning, friends. We got another Watchmen update. Hopefully you guys are having a good Tuesday morning, but we got an explosion in Baltimore Harbor. We need to talk about a ship explodes not too far from where the Francis Scott Key Bridge was before it got rammed into. We got mail-in ballots and voting machines about to be eliminated. Looks like we're going to be going back to paper ballots nationwide. We got Taco Bell running out of rice. We got Hurricane Erin we need to talk about, triggering evacuations in North Carolina. We got wildfires in Spain, and a Gaza ceasefire might be on the table. We got that, plus a whole lot of reports coming from you guys from all over. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have something to add or something to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment. That gets it to the right place. All right, we do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They have a free free physical book, not an ebook, a real book that they'll ship to you called Gold and the Bible. It's a fantastic book written by a pastor, and it is focusing on what the Bible teaches about honest money, about integrity in monetary systems, and how our money is all fake. So if you want to get that book in your hands, there will be a link at the end of the video, or you can find it down in the pinned comment down below. Just fill out your information and they'll ship it to you. All right, let's start over in California. Gavin Newsom, the California governor, has demanded information from Trump after Border Patrol swarmed outside a news conference that the governor held. So the Border Patrol did a bust of people who were not supposed to be in the United States just outside his news conference, and made the governor look bad, that the governor is harboring these type of fugitives. So he's upset about that. He's claiming it's political targeting, which is super rich coming from these guys. After they went political prosecution wise after President Trump, so bad it's absolutely ridiculous. We got a huge explosion witnessed in Baltimore Harbor. We don't know answers to what exactly happened. Looks like some freighter's cargo exploded. Now this is just south of the former Francis Scott Key Bridge that got destroyed by the ship ramming into it. So not a good location, and this was not a small, like a couple of shipping containers exploding. Like, this is the cargo hold of a ship exploding into a giant fireball and catching fire. The ship, last we checked, is on fire. Hopefully the Coast Guard can put that fire out. We'll follow up with more information as we have it available. We got evacuations underway in North Carolina due to Hurricane Erin. Life-threatening rip currents across the coast, and high surf are expected across the entire U.S. East Coast this week. Hurricane Erin has re-strengthened back up to a Category 4 storm. It was already a Category 5 storm before, but then brushing some of the islands, including Puerto Rico, it did downgrade, and now it is re-strengthening as it comes towards the eastern seaboard of the United States. We're not expecting it to make major landfall inland, so we're mostly just looking at the islands off the coast of North Carolina. So evacuations are underway at Hatteras Island on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and we may see more evacuations on other islands on the Outer Banks as well. So please, if you're in those areas, or if you're looking at having vacation in those areas soon, please be keeping abreast of the updates as they come out news-wise from the government. All right, Spain has deployed 2,000 of its soldiers to help combat the worst wildfires that they've seen there in decades. They got significant fires there. Drought as well as high temperatures are fueling these fires, and the winds are not helping either. We got a Hamas delegation in Egypt has received a new Gaza truce plan. So this is supposed to be a 60-day truce. Hostages released in 2 batches. Now these are Hamas-held hostages. They've been holding these hostages for almost 2 years in captivity. From previous hostages, we've seen them starved, we've seen them tortured for their entire stay, but there are some who are still being held alive that need to be released, and there are people who are passed, but Hamas is still holding on to their remains. This is supposed to be negotiated in Cairo. It will be a ceasefire for 60 days, and there will be some of these hostages released. All right, Germany and Japan have agreed to partner up to face down and, quote, aggressive China. Now, I want you to imagine China sending its warships and being very concerned about what's happening between France and England. You say, Steve, that's kind of ridiculous because France and England are on the opposite side of the world from China. Now, let's turn that around. Why in the world is Germany sending its warships to China? It's the other side of the world. So Germany and Japan working together, partnering for a threat that, I mean, Germany is sticking its nose in what is apparently none of its own business. And we're seeing out there that China has militarily gained what some are saying now about force parity with the United States. Now, I know that's a controversial statement right there, but experts are saying that basically in a war between the United States and China, China could fight the United States to a standstill. So we got Germany and European countries sticking their nose in there, trying to provoke China, it seems like, and the United States continuing to try to provoke China, even though China's military has been rapidly growing. We got President Trump announcing that he is going to move to eliminate mail-in ballots completely across the U.S. and get rid of voting machines. Now, this is going to be an executive order that he's looking at signing, which will force all states to comply, no mail-in ballots, and no voting machines. Everything must be hand-counted, need to be paper ballots. If you want to fill out a ballot, you need to show your ID, and you need to actually fill out the ballot by hand, and then those ballots are going to be retained for possible recounts. None of this mumbo-jumbo with the electronic signals like, we can't recount because there's no paper trail. No. President Trump says he will sign this executive order aimed at bringing honesty to the 2026 midterm elections, claiming that mail-in voting leads to voter fraud and that voting machines are inaccurate, expensive, and controversial. I mean, it's like, how many days does it take to get an election result from the United States? It's like, it takes weeks now. You have countries like Taiwan. You have large countries across the world. India comes up with its election results in a matter of hours. And yet they have voting across their entire country. They have over 1.3 billion people. And yet they managed to hand count paper ballots across the entire country in a matter of hours. So, we should be able to do that. It's just going to take a lot of volunteers, which I think a lot of people would be willing to do that, to help hand count ballots. And as people hand count the ballots, they should be observed by the media, right? Even if it's citizen journalists. All right, Rocky Road says, Central California, we had 2 alerts in July and 1 so far this month for power outages. Is this a first world country or is this a third world country? That's the question. Milk is always low here, and you never know if there will be any milk when you need it. I bought a flat of strawberries and I had to end up tossing them out. Absolutely no taste, and they rotted within 2 days. Oranges are dry inside and have no taste. Even tomatoes have no taste, but the label says vine ripened. We live where these are grown, so they're grown in California and they're in California, yet we don't eat them. They are shipped elsewhere in the U.S., and we eat what comes from Mexico and China and South America. My friend in Chicago says most of their produce is labeled from California, but people in California can't seem to find it. Absolutely crazy. Little John says, here in Central Florida, have not seen any love bugs this year. This is not normal. A number of you guys pointing out no love bugs down there in Florida. Vicky says, Asheboro, North Carolina. Went to the Food King store today and noticed Maxwell House Colombian coffee was $23 for a 27-ounce can. I was paying $8 just 3 years ago. So glad I stocked up on coffee back then, and I don't need any for at least a year. Freeze-dried coffee is a great way to stock up, friends. If you can, make sure you try a couple different brands. You may not like the first couple brands. You may have had bad experiences with freeze-dried coffee, but it lasts basically indefinitely, and it is a healthy thing. Vana says, fresh peaches look good on the outside, but brown and mushy on the inside. Southern Indiana. And just in case you don't understand what I'm saying by freeze-dried coffee, I'm talking about instant coffee. It's freeze-dried. That's what it is. So you can get it fairly cheap, Folgers or whatever. Dawn says, Central Texas, the produce I bought, 4 pound packages of apples at Sam's, and only 2 of them out of all of them weren't rotten on the inside. Bought some Envy and Fuji apples, as well as some white nectarines. The single apples looked gorgeous on the outside, but they were rotten on the inside. Out of 6 white nectarines, only 1 had the texture and taste that I enjoy, and that's different than the past. Freeze-dried ice cream prepper. Make sure you like that stuff before you stockpile too much of that freeze-dried ice cream. Anyway, if you got a freeze dryer, then by all means, right? I've been hearing about strange meat problems, but never had any myself until today. Last night, I opened a 3-pound tube of ground beef from Walmart. It was well within its best by date and looked and smelled just fine. I only used about half of it and tightly closed the rest of it in a Ziploc bag. When I opened it this morning to use the rest of it, it was brown all the way through. I thought that was only supposed to happen when it's exposed to air, but mine was still 90% sealed in the original plastic wrapping. So what gives? Very weird. Indeed. Linda says, my yard is full of clover and there aren't any bees on them. I'm always barefoot and usually have to look out for stepping on bees, but there are no bees here. The Mountain Goat says, Taco Bell in Rawlins, Wyoming, out of rice. That's an emergency right there, if you know what I'm talking about. Even Taco Bell, like that's one of the main things that they have, right? Alien says, no crickets, a few flies, and small lizards are having to dig up beetles that are not their normal food source, and birds are hungry here in southern New Mexico. Capped Cass says, no bananas or mandarin oranges at Trader Joe's here in Dallas, Texas. So we're seeing produce, fruit, not lasting long enough and not being fully available. Joyful Follower, this one's a little bit troubling. Let me know what you guys think about this. We are in Indiana near the Ohio border. We have a emergency weather radio for years. Part of preparedness is knowing when tornadoes or bad storms are coming, and we're rural, so we can't hear the town tornado sirens. For the first time in over 10 years, we have hardly any signal. Have moved the radio to different areas of the house, even outside, and still can barely hear it. We reset it, we change the batteries, and plug. Anyone else having this issue? Could it be solar disturbance or hacking? My friend bought a new radio and says hers has not been running the weekly test. Mine hasn't been either. so it isn't because mine is just a few years old. So with that, it's possible that the radio tower near you has been down for a bit. It's possible. So you can take it into town and try it there. You can wait a little bit longer to see if they, if the tower near you is down for repairs, and then they're going to put it back up, open it back up. That could be okay if it's just temporarily out of service. But that's something to check out there for sure, because that's an important part of preparedness, like you said, to know when things are happening and to know when all clears are happening as well. Russell says, Joplin and Carthage, Missouri. Meat prices continue to rise. Imported foods are harder to find. This is my opinion, but it looks like a meat shortage is just starting. It's starting to get bad before it's going to be gone. Baby formula and personal care products are rising also. I work 40 plus hours a week, and we have little or no growth at this point. Growing our own food and doing some degree of trading makes a big difference. So growing some food for yourself and then trading it with other people. Yeah, I mean, some people don't have jobs, right? And they have plenty of time for prepping. Maybe they don't have very much money for prepping. Other people have jobs. They don't have much time for prepping, but they do have a little more money. So just think about that kind of stuff. But going to the store with your money doesn't necessarily buy you good food or clean food or healthy food, right? Chrism says, my husband and I just got back from Costco, and we were in a line 15 carts deep. It was crazy there, lots of full carts with food and water. I think people are hearing your warnings. Keep up the great work. God bless you. And God bless you all as well. Kenneth says, you can buy clearanced meat if it's not too brown and vacuum seal it, and it will stay good for another year or two. You cannot imagine the value of a vacuum sealer. Yeah, just be careful about putting sharp things in there, because that tends to puncture the bags and they don't hold a seal very well. Seal things up, especially in the freezer. That will make your meat last longer, and other things you put in the freezer. But then after a day or so, after vacuum sealing it, make sure you go and check it again, because sometimes they lose the seal and you might have to reseal it. Elbert says, in Texas, truck drivers are requested to carry a boomstick of some kind for safety reasons. Now, this is what the sheriffs at truck stops are saying. Drivers of trucks are considered, the trucks themselves are considered homes, and the castle doctrine applies to them as well. Special care should be exercised to protect yourself on the roads out there. Things will certainly get worse here in the United States, so prepare now. Take notice, therefore, and govern yourselves accordingly. Thanks so much for all your reports, everyone, and for contributing to the Watchmen community. I appreciate it so much. Appreciate you all and watching these videos and keeping informed. We're trying to keep you guys ahead of the curve. All right, friends, if you want to get that free book, once again, that's down in the pinned comment down below, or you can just click on the link right there. Fill out the form, and Genesis Gold will ship you that Gold and the Bible book directly to you. If you want to get some more information, if you want to check out another video from this channel to get more information, there's a link right there. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report.